All right, welcome to the webinar. This is Daryl Martin with ApexInvesting.com doing an Apex Sniper, Be the Sniper or Be the Target webinar series, thriving in 2021. And if you don't know, you can check us out for free at ApexInvesting.com/bootcamp for free and get free 30 days access to our room, our tools, and our training at no cost and no card. Disclosures, make sure you know what you're doing before you do it. There's risk involved in investing. One thing to remind you of, we got earnings. They started today. So we actually had some really good earnings come out along with some really bad news on the CPI. JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs came out today with really, really good numbers. But CPI came out with really bad numbers. So we had really the mix of a perfect mix for a profitable day with having, big down moves, big up moves, and big down moves back again. You can go to the Apex Investing website, and under the account menu, right here, you'll see a news calendar link. Click on that news calendar link. It'll take you to this page, and you scroll down, and we show you the dates and the wire times, which is what matters, the wire times of the earnings announcements. So you'll be aware we have a lot coming up next week. Not really much left for this week. It's got United Health Group. But next week, a whole lot of earnings kicking in over the next 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks of July usually make up the most positive, bullish weeks of the year. And that's coming to an end at the end of this week. So we expect positive earnings announcements from most companies for how they did it in quarter two. The big question will be the forward guidance with inflation and how they're going to do in quarter three. The toolkit does have a recent update. We added micro gold and micro oil, and we are working on, hopefully this weekend we'll have a micro oil crossovers available as well. Okay. Somebody has a question. I want to understand the precise difference between the auto or semi-auto trading tool and the Apex chart trader. Well, we use the automated trading tool. We use it in semi-auto mode, so you're choosing when to tell it to go, when not to. And chart trader is where there's buttons on the screen, and you can click buy close, sell close, and it'll buy if the bar closes up, it'll sell if the bar closes down. So you can turn that on if you want to. So if short is turned on, auto trading tool will place the trade whenever it has a valid, even if obstructed setup. It'll still do it even if it's obstructed. So that's why you have to make the call to turn it on. The other tool is just to get ahead of the game and put it on first. So you can just put it on right away. Right now there is QM is inside the auto trader, but it doesn't tick the same, so it doesn't work. It never has worked. But we're going to be changing QM out with MCL, the new micro contract, which doesn't really have any data because it just started trading here in the last week. So I would not trade CL on the inventory news announcement unless you're doing it with Nadex. So, not even micros. All right. So, but make sure you check this every day. Just get in the habit of it this week, so that way you are ready for it next week. All right. Semi-auto places trades for SLZs, for third bar swings, and for trapped X boxes. That is correct. All right. Let's see here. So today, like I said, was a very profitable day, and knocked it out of the park today, so it's pretty sweet. And I thought we would, like I said, go over some simplicity trades that I did today as well as the sniper trades. If y'all want to do that. I got on a little early this morning because we had CPI come out. CPI came in way worse than expected. So here's the market before CPI. CPI comes out at 8:30, okay? And you want to be out of the market when something like CPI comes out, because this can happen. So literally that happened in a matter of seconds, okay? So it is always good to watch those news announcements in the top left corner on your diagnostic chart. And of course that's awesome if you're short, but it really sucks if you're long. So you never know which way it's going to break on those big news announcements. All right? So what did I do after the fact? Well, I saw that CPI came in a lot higher than expected, a lot worse than expected. And so I sat back, and the market, pulled on back down again. And then it started to pull up. And then it got ready for another short. And so that's when I took my short. And let's see here. I want to go through the whole thing with you. All right, so it pulled up. It pulled back down. I want to do exactly what I did this morning. It pulled back down to about the same level. Do y'all see that? Like, we just had a wick below that level to the left. Let me get my wand. Hold on a second. So I can point a Harry Potter wand. So it came up, goes this diagnostic bar, comes back down, about to the same level. So I'm a little nervous. I'm like, is that the end of the move? Or are we going to get another short? And pulls back up. Right back up to what? What did it pull back up to? Pulled back up to settlement, yeah. So that 0.25, it drops all the way down half a deviation. And then pulls back 0.25 back up to settlement. So at this point, I'm starting to go, you know what? Now it has room to move back down again. So it starts ticking. Now we got a short setup. We have both angling down. Okay, both lines are angling down. Coming off of a major level. All we got to do is break the low. Didn't break it yet. Still waiting. If we break this low, we're both angling down. Both angling down. Still hasn't done it yet. So I'm waiting on my setup. Notice I don't just hop in because I think it's going to go down. And then both are angling down there. And finally it breaks the low. Where do you think my main target's going to be? Because it broke that. We got not only two down angles, but we broke the low, so we got a short. So my main target's going to be the 0.25 dev. It may go further, so I can, tighten up my stop or take my profit right there. So it's going down. I'm watching it. Getting a little nervous. Is it going to make it down there? It makes it down to the 0.25 dev. I've tightened my stop up, and I actually have a pretty tight stop right here. With the solid line here. And boom, it pops me out. And then I called, hey, I'm out of the trade. And then we looked at going long because both lines angled up. Y'all see that? So this was an exit with a preparation for an entry. And where do you think I might be trying to get? That is an early entry because it's right when the colors switch. Where do you think I might be targeting for my up entry? Yeah, looking at settlement again. And that move may not look huge, but I mean, it moved from 44. And like I said, if we went to 0.25 here down to 22, I mean, that's 22 points of profit. I don't know what you mean by an elevator on Simplicity. There are no elevators on Simplicity. I wasn't looking for an LRE because we're coming right back into the low, if that's what you meant. So it popped back up with some strength. Didn't break the high. I'm waiting on it to break the high. Comes down a little further. You don't get it all, right? Okay, now we got a long setup. We break the high, now we have an entry. Exactly, 20 points, $400. I'm always looking at OD on the 30, and I'm always looking at the 50 tick as well. Now, I've seen some conversations on Facebook in our group, some great conversations about simplicity. What do I tell most people that you should be starting out at when you're trading simplicity? I mean, it's really nice to make $400, but what should you be trading? Should you be trading micros to begin with? If you're going to trade simplicity, trade micros. And then you can do the minis on the LREs, but do micros for the actual simplicity trades, because they can get you. And, you know, unless you're really comfortable with, you know, reading the market and taking bigger stops, you want to focus on those LREs for your minis. So it starts moving its way up. Still long. By the way, what would this be? Let's go back a little bit. What would that be right there? It broke it, but it broke it at settlement. Back here at 850 or 840 or whatever. Broke it by settlement. Okay, so we got this. It's coming down, going up. So we'd have an LRE right here. Exactly. So an LRE is when it gets within 2 points of the solid line, and we go long for 10 points. Actually, before market open, we go long for 5 points with a stop of 5 points below the solid line. So that one made money on its LRE. And then we pull back down. We got another LRE, points, not ticks, points. So now we got a 5-point stop, a 5-point take profit, and we're still in the simplicity trade. And it oscillates around a little while, and then it takes off. So, well, you can do market or you can do limit orders, whatever you're more comfortable and faster with. What is LRE and what is ODD? Well, ODD I'll show you when I get to a sniper chart. And LRE is a lower risk entry, and that's when you have a valid simplicity trade. I covered this in the first video of setups in the simplicity section. So when you have a valid simplicity, which is 2 angling up where the high is broken and the market pulls back down within 2 points or less of the solid line. And then we have a 5-point stop with a 5-point take profit outside of market hours. And then 9:30, we're going for a 10-point take profit and a 5-point stop. So when this pulled back right here, you'd get in and then it pops back up and then you're profitable. Done. Comes over here, profitable, and then done. And that's pretty much it. Are you using setups for simplicity? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. I do like to see a sniper setup on simplicity whenever it's there. That makes me more confident of it. So it's going up. And we're at a point now. What should we do? It's right here on the line. It's going back up. Okay, at that point, what should happen? Get out, because it closed definitely, at least here, if not there, it closed below the solid line. Also, what is the other reason you should be out of the trade? Yeah, dark zone. So that one trade right there, 14.815. Let's say you got out at the dark zone, which is where you should have got out at. So you wouldn't have got that pop, but 14.847. So about another 20 points. Okay? And that literally is simplicity. So the hardest part about simplicity is learning to read the market to know which ones you should take and which ones you shouldn't. It's very, very easy to execute. Okay? Very easy to execute as far as where's my stop, where's my take profit, where's my trailing stop, where's my entry, and you can get some nice big runs out of it. And I do call simplicity trades in the room. So if you're trying to learn simplicity, I want to emphasize again, what should you use so you don't get cremated while you're learning to read? Because I'm not just reading the simplicity chart. I'm looking at the sniper chart, the 30-tick chart, the 50-tick chart. What should you use to read it? Micros, exactly. I talk a lot more about what to take and what not to take in the Thrive course, and so that is a definite place to go to learn more about what to take and what not to take when trading simplicity. And if you already have Thrive, that's a section to review if you want to get it down better. Because you can't just look at the simplicity chart. Let me say that again. You can't just look at the simplicity chart and know. You got to be looking at your sniper, your 30-tick, and your 50-tick. But stick to micros so you don't get cremated. I mean, you can still make 40 or 50 bucks in a trade. That's not a bad thing. Why wasn't I out here? Because this was the solid line. It closed right on it. And so I stayed in. If you would have got out, you could have got back in right over here and got a little pop. So it can feel like rocket science, and if it does, then stick to snipers. So, or listen to me whenever I call out a simplicity trade. Can you use the copier by leading with sim on my other accounts on micros? Yes, you can. You just right click on the trade copier and you click crossover. And then you check the accounts you want to do crossover on. So we got the open. And it did go back up to settlement, which was our target. We just ran out of time with the dark zone. And now we're out of the dark zone and we got a short. Right here where both were angling down and we broke the low. Right there, both were angling down. We broke the low right there. Does that dynamic magnet look like a solid target? Yeah. So you don't have to get 20 and 30 and 40 points on every move. And that's one of the big things about simplicity that I've stressed in past webinars. Don't worry about always getting the big move. Don't be upset because somebody else made 1,000 and you made 300, Or you made 200 and somebody else made 500. Like, just be glad you got a solid trade. Because you can also give it back. Like that. Or they made 50 grand. Who are you talking about? So we're still waiting on one over here. Now we have one going right into settlement. So I'm not a big fan of that. Then it pops up with one that actually is breaking settlement right here. Both are angling up and the high is above settlement. So you go up there, you can get up to that wall pretty easily. I mean, and that's a 10-point move. even if you didn't take that, over here, whenever it went up and pulled back down, what did you have right here? Yeah, you had an LRE for 10 points. And then it went another 10 points. You can, Benjamin, if you really know what you're doing. What is the significance of settlement? Settlement is where the entire market said this is the value of the market today, and that's the closing price of the previous day. And the entire market settled at that point. So where all options are basing their settlement on, everything and how they pay out. And it's a very, very strong level. Benjamin's question is, can you enter after an original entry? And like I said, only if you know what you're doing. In this case, I was looking at it, like the first one went into settlement. I didn't like that. The second one was above settlement, so I liked it. The stop on an LRE, is it a hard 5 points from below the solid line? Yes, it's a hard 5-point stop below the solid line. Is it better to just focus on the simplicity chart only when using the strategy? 100% no. You need to be using the sniper chart, the 30-tick chart, and the 50-tick chart. So this is still going. And what did it run into? We got 3 what levels? 3 flux levels. Goes up, breaks one, breaks the other, touches the third one, pulls back. I'd probably be looking to take my profit if I haven't already. And it keeps going. Is it okay that it kept going and you didn't get it all? Yes. Because isn't it okay to not get it all as long as you don't lose it all? Yeah. So there you got another LRE. Where it bounced. And made another 10 points. And it was bouncing off of that flux level. Okay? Where do you enter on the LRE? When it gets to within 2 points or less of the solid line. So when it pulled back right here, you hop in. You got a 5-point stop from this level. You got a 10-point take profit. And trying to get it all will cost you more than you'll ever give up by taking profit. Again, trying to get it all will cost you more than you'll ever give up by taking profit. I guess there's no way to have levels and obstructions on the chart? No, that's not true. If you have Thrive, I mean, you see how I have levels and I have obstructions on the chart. And I'm using the OP copier indicator to copy my 30-tick levels onto my simplicity chart. So you have more risk, about the same. I mean, 20 ticks. I mean, you're looking at 5 points. And less effect from small moves on the sniper chart. You actually make profit from small moves on the sniper chart. I know, you'll get there, Mimi. And we do cover simplicity, but we really dive into it and Thrive. Too big of a bar for entry? I don't know. It just has to look big to me. I mean, that's my honest answer. I mean, anything bigger than 10 points? mean, if it massively spikes, it's usually going to pull back. Do I copy OP from my 10-tick chart to my simplicity chart? No, I don't. It'd be way too much data. I just look at my sniper chart. Okay, so that one kept going up. And it's out. So if you rolled the entire thing, you made a whole lot. If you didn't, it did reset right here with 2 up moves, and you could have got this again. You could have got in right here after we got out. Came down, you took a 10-point profit on the LRE, and then it gave you another simplicity entry. It gave you another LRE entry right here. Popped up. Gave you another LRE. Popped up and kept going. And then went up to make what was the all-time high, which got broken. Alright, is that enough for y'all on simplicity? You want to check out some sniper trades? Alright. Pull up some sniper. Grab my chart, put it over here. And we started a little early this morning, so I'll start early. Started like at 8 o'clock. Okay. Let me click on this. All right, we have a TX short. It is, by the way, 811. You're not quite HD because you need a second pullback for HD. But it is going into a very strong level with all of this right here. So exactly, into a small mess. So no trade. Got a long, what do we got? Quill chop, nothing. And then we fly down for the news. It keeps going. You're not going to see exhaustion when the market's moving that fast. So we'll just fly past it. By the way, all that was in like 4 seconds. That was 30 seconds. That was 1 bar. Yeah, lots of zeros and 4s. And there we go. Okay. All right. Started to slow down. Gave us an exhaustion box. Do we take it? Yeah, it is a theme with when you get big moves like that, you're not going to see exhaustion boxes because it's not getting exhausted, right? Yet we're in a strong downtrend. We have no setup. Okay, we got an FTX there. Yeah, technically this would still be dark zone. Here, let's move past the dark zone. Okay, now we're past the dark zone. dark zone was from 825 to 835. That started early because CPI was coming out. Okay, we got an FTX. Anything? No, I'm talking Eastern time. Too close, got obstructions, DR's not high enough, no trade. Okay, we got an FTX. Right into settlement. I'm brand new to this. What should I master first and focus on? Being consistent at Sniper or Simplicity? You should be focusing on Sniper to begin with. Alright, so not a valid trade, going right into an obstruction with settlement. And DR's not high enough. Now we get an SLZ right off of settlement. So the way I know that we got an SLZ, I mean, it's a star, a low volume score with that little number above it, a ZOI. But we got this blue indicator at the bottom, which means SLZ. So if you're new, I'm looking at these detectors to see when there's a potential trade setup. So that's a solid SLZ. I would take that. So especially coming off settlement, bouncing off of it twice. Now I got an SLZ. Do we take it? Is it off a major level? Nope, no major level. It's off a level, but not a major level. So we don't take it. And we're glad we didn't. ZOI is not listed as a major level. The ZOI crashes now. Alright, we got a TX long here. No reason to take it. Nope, not an ETX. It laid a paw, but dynamic magnets don't count as another OP level. Against DR. Okay, so no trade. Got an elevator short. Going into DR. Coil chop is okay for an elevator, but we're too late in the trend. Exactly. And we're going right into a dynamic magnet. Alright, now, and again, if you're new, I'm looking down here at the bottom to see where a potential setup is. Got a potential long. No trade, doesn't meet any of our requirements at all. So no setup. We got another long. Yeah, I'd say greater than 7 or 8 bars is too late into a trend on an elevator. Yeah, into a dynamic magnet, into a deviation. Doesn't meet either rules. No trade. We don't worry about the ones that would have won. We want to avoid the ones that will lose. Alright, we got a TX short. Coil chop, no trade, going into a mess. I know this feels like we went through a lot of time, but we've only covered like literally about 15-20 minutes here. Got another TX long. We got a trade? No trade. No setup. That is correct. So this is when we're making all this money on simplicity. Got a TX short. Do we have a trade? Yeah, we got an ETX. Yeah, it's like ODD by a tick. So what was wrong with it? Who can tell me? Two to 3 bar chop. That's what was wrong with it. Didn't really have crocodile eyes. There was only one cluster to the left. Yeah, you can stay in simplicity longer because your stops are wider. That is correct. So 2 to 3 bar chop. So if you would have got in it, you would have regretted it. All right, now we got a TX short. Anything? No trade. Now we got an SLZ long off the mini magnet, or off the dynamic magnet. Everybody agree? All right, and we have another winner. So with the rules so far, we have 2 trades that have won. Okay, now you got a 3rd bar swing right after an SLZ. Going right into dynamic magnets. The HD on that last one didn't have a TX on it. It's not a higher high. That is correct. Very good. It's not a higher high, therefore it's not a valid 3rd bar swing. And we're glad we didn't take it. Alright, we got a short. So look closely if you're saying no. Got a paw on a ZOI. What is that? ETX trade. And we got our 3rd winner, so we're 3 and done. We'll keep going, but we got our 3. In the pre-market, in 30 minutes, or maybe 40 minutes, we got our 3 and done. So not too shabby, right? Is this HD? It is HD in the sense of that number is higher than that number by 125% and it's a lower high, but there's no trapped Xbox on it. So therefore it's not a valid trade. Does that make sense? All right, now we're 3 minutes from the dark zone, so we're just going to let it do its thing, go through to the dark zone. All right, 9:35. Again, now we're going past our 3 and done. So by now, you should be going back to bed. Okay? We're just doing this for review. All right, we got a TX short. Nope. All right, we got a TX long. Nope, not a valid trade, not low enough to be ODD. Robert's like, I'm not going back to bed after making 60K. I'm like, I do. I sleep like a baby. Double TX. ETX. Going into one cluster. Told you should have went to bed. All right, TX long, any trade? Coil, no trade. Chopping up like crazy, down, up, down. No, no trade. TX short. No trade. TX long. No setup, low DR, no trade. TX short. Coming off settlement. Valid. Yes, valid. Massive ODD. So somebody asked earlier, what is ODD? This is ODD. When you make a higher high with a number that's 85% or less, lower the better, than the previous OD number. Or in the other way, if you made a lower low and say this was 80% and had a trapped Xbox on it. So 20% ODD. Don't stay away. Hop in this trade. This is a good one. All right. And no obstructions, exactly. TX short. Nothing. Remember, this is when we were in that settlement, or that simplicity, and we were getting up there at those flux levels, those 3 flux levels. Now what about right here? We were taking profit at the 3 flux levels when we were in a simplicity trade long earlier, when I was going in simplicity. It came back down, it gave an LRE, and it gave an HDD trade. So again, when this number is greater than this number by 125% on your second pullback. So pullback 1 from the low, pullback 2 from the low, greater than the first pullback by 125%. And it takes off along with that LRE and that simplicity trade. And that's where having a simplicity and a sniper chart together would have helped you out. All right, we got an SLZ. Do we take it? Nope, no level. Got an SLZ. Is it close enough? We're at 912. Settlement's at 915. Too far. So invalid. Got a third bar sling going into a ZOI and just a ZOI. So what would you want to do if you're taking this third bar sling? Where would you want to be looking to take your profit or move to break even? At first ZOI, I'd be looking to either take profit or I'd be looking to move to break even in case it doesn't keep going. We just had ODD on it as well, right before it. Comes down, touches the ZOI, and then bounces back. Yeah. So if you wouldn't have been watching for those levels, it would have bit you. Yeah, I do break even manually. I just drag my stop down. Got a third bar swing there. Not at a new low or new high. Remember, one of the rules to remind you is anytime that you have a level right in front of your take profit right before the level. Or just don't take the trade. And that would have saved you on this trade, this third bar swing. Taking profit right before that level would have saved you. So that is a consistent point. It's not a market read. That's one of our rules in all of our trades on snipers. So whenever you have a level in between your entry and your take profit, exit a tick before that level. Or don't take the trade. And that is a rule that I state in each one of the sniper setups. And that one rule would have saved you from losing 20 ticks. So this third bar sling not at a new high. Obviously not at a new low. So no trade. Got an elevator long. Not coming off a new high, right? Late in the trend, exactly. So no trade. Everybody agree? So it is not a trade on the elevator. Is it anything else? It's an ETX. Now, it's not my favorite whenever they're in a coil chop. Like, that definitely is a level 2 ETX, but it is allowed. So if you would have taken it, it would have won. But again, not my favorite trade. So the elevator was not a valid reason, but the ETX was. Yeah, trend was your friend on that one. Coming back up to the market highs. Oh, got a TX long. I'm not sure why it's not marked as FTX. You could call it a grade 2 FTX. Since there's no level in the way. Got a paw on it. So, could have taken it. I probably would have passed. Alright, we got a TX short. Coming off of the previous all-time high here. I got a ODD on it. And a DRD. So deviation, reversal divergence, like we look at on the 50 tick, we also have an ODD. So we got both. So we take it, and it goes against us. Not yet. Okay, at this point, I mean, it's literally went right up to the point. Yeah, the stop loss is above the high. What are you doing right now? Besides praying. Moving to break even. Okay. Alright, so now you're out of the trade, right? It works, but you're out of the trade. Exactly. Grinding your teeth, peeing your pants. Yeah, that was a dicey one. So, like I said, it worked out, but it was dicey. That's why we get out of break even there whenever it pulls back up like that. It was a tick higher, but remember the stop is a full 21 ticks higher, so it would have been like right up here. Got a DRD range-bound trade. Got a double TX range-bound trade, I mean. With OPR on it. Remember, you can do range-bound against DR. So it's a valid double TX range-bound trade. You got OPR with it. Profitable trade. So those OPRs with a trade really do add strength to them. And remember, you can go against DR on a double TX when it's range-bound. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, we're at the all-time high. Chop is definitely coming. Chop is here. Got a TX there. What do we do? Quill chop. Nada. Got a SLZ. We are not coming off any major level. The all-time high is not considered a major level. So invalid entry. Would have been nice, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. All right, now we got a short TX. Coil chop, no trade. Now we got a long TX. Even if you did treat the all-time high like a wall, you're still more than 2 points away from it. You're 4 points away. No setup. All right, now we got a short TX. Got ODD. Yep, that's right. 36%. Lane 2 ODD. And it wins. Didn't really have crocodile eyes in its way. It went down to the bottom. Right here is where the crocodile eyes were. So you need to have 2 clusters in between your entry and your take profit. You only had 1 cluster in between the entry and take profit. The second cluster was at the take profit. SLZs are not a percentage. They are 2 points from a major level. Yeah, it had a clear target, that ZOI mini magnet. It just was a lane 2, so I'd be skeptical about taking it for more. I'm usually going to look for a lane 3 or 4 to go for a target. And you're going through it. You consider it crocodilis at that point. Breaking the all-time high. Just set a new all-time high. Lori will do that in the morning. Oh, we got a TX there. Got a TX short. Anything? No trade. Got another TX short. Nope. No trade. Got an SLZ short. Invalid, no trade, no level. Oh, skipped one. Got a TX long. It's not HDD because it made a lower low. So this low HD number is lower than this HD number. It's not an FTX because it's going up. And it's not an ETX. So no trade. Keep jumping past them. We got a short here. No trade. Short here. No trade. Y'all notice that trading is like 10% buying, 10% selling, and 80% patience. 80% waiting. This is about when I logged off here. See what happens up to 11. Got a TX short. Do we take it? It is an ETX, but you do have 2 to 3 bar chop. So we want to avoid that one, right? It's not ODD, it is an ETX, but again, it has 2 to 3 bar chop. Just like that earlier one before open that we avoided, this one too. And it would have coiled on you anyway and you would have hopped out. Got TX long. No trade. Got a 3rd bar swing coming off of a recent high. Yep, that's a valid 3rd bar swing. Winner. ETXs can be traded in quill chop, not 2 to 3 bar chop. FTX short. Nope. No trade. TX long. No trade. All right, that brings us to 11 o'clock. 10 o'clock Eastern time. All right, so did y'all get some good stuff out of today? FTX didn't have high enough DR. Needs to be above the 1 level, the first gold level there. Okay, remind me tomorrow, Nikita. Awesome. Well, thank y'all for coming on tonight, spending your time with us, and I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow morning in the trade room. Y'all are very welcome. Y'all have a good night, okay?